You have people in Biz Markie's life from the very beginning to the very end who love this man. Like you talk about his foster siblings and people from when he was young in Long Island, but all the way to the end. You got Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
You have both Method Man and Ghostface Killer. Like by the time Wu-Tang Clan becomes famous, he is an icon. So everyone seems to have loved him.
Young Drunk!
Welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I'm joined as always by my partner.
Hey, this is Len. How you doing?
And here we are, the first week of September, or as we like to call it, Doc to School Month, where we spend the entire month exploring documentaries. And we begin our month-long journey with Len's Choice, a vibrant, fantastic documentary from 2023, directed and written by Sasha Jenkins, all up in the biz, exploring the life, death, and legacy of Biz Markie.
Yes.
Hip-hop icon.
Yes.
But before we get to all of that, how are you, Len?
I am doing fantastic. How about you?
Good to hear. I am doing well as well.
Shout out to each and every one of you out there watching as we stream live from Young Chunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, as we are streaming to YouTube, where each and every one of our missionaries are out there in the chat watching us live. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
It is September. We are going doc to school, and boy, we are also taking this opportunity to shake things up here at Mission Control of the Micheaux Mission. We are changing the game up in ways that some of you have been screaming for years. So let's just get it out there right off the bat. We are no longer a member of the Podglomerate podcast group. We are now with Believe. Every sport, every topic, everywhere. The Believe Podcast Network. Welcome the Micheaux Mission this week into their legion of podcasts. You'll be seeing some of the changes. We are going to reach out to a lot of our new friends and family on the network to have them pop in on the show. We'll be popping in on some of their shows. You'll hear some of their ads. It's going to be great as we shake things up here at Mission Control. We're really excited to be part of the Believe podcast family. Also, and this goes especially to Mo Poplar.
Yeah,
our associate producer. He will appreciate this. Because now, as we move going into our 10th year, Vincent, our 10th year of podcasting, the Micheaux Mission has, in Mo's words, finally opened up a Patreon account.
Yes, we are.
That's right. You can go to patreon.com, search for the Micheaux Mission, and you, missionaries, can now become patrons of the Micheaux Mission.
Missionaries and patrons.
There you go. It's a real low bar of entry, and the reason why we're doing this is simple. In 10 years of doing this podcast, of it being pretty much free entertainment for you, our expenses here have gone up, and they promise to only raise with some of the other changes and initiatives that we are going to be getting into in 2026. So we could use a little help in helping take care of these things and keep bringing you this quality entertainment. Thus, we opened up our Patreon account.
Alms for the poor.
Yes. But we are still doing this and going to give you more.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to give you more, which will be a Patreon exclusive podcast feed to the Micheaux Mission, where we will give all of the patrons a shout out here on the show. And you will receive not one, not two, but 3 all new monthly podcasts from Vincent and myself. All new monthly, just for patrons of the Micheaux mission. You think we should tell them what the podcasts are?
We should.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll run them down for you. The first one has been George Kimono will be excited about this because we're finally going back to the binge lounge. We're going to give you a binge lounge once a month on our Patreon account where Vincent and I will sit and we will just chop it up about whatever we've been binging, whatever is on the top of mind. Then, for all you fans of Vincent and I talking about comic books and animation and cartoons and old TV shows, well, we've devoted a monthly podcast where we could talk about all that stuff. So all the stuff that we talked about right before the show began today, we've got a podcast for it. And that podcast is going to be called Serial Killers, because who doesn't like cereal? Well, Vincent doesn't, but we understand that was because of, poor home training when he was a young child. But we're going to be talking about all the stuff that we used to love as children, all the rest of us, as we ate cereal. Cartoons, comic books, all that type of stuff, and all the things that Vincent and I still love. That will be once a month. And remember all those movies that I would say that we already reviewed, and Vincent would say, no, actually, we did not. And Vincent would say, you obviously must have reviewed them on your other secret movie podcast. Well, we now have Len's Other Movie Podcast, where I will be sitting down with friend of the show, Ariel Johnson, and Vincent every once in a while, if he wants to join us, to sit and review all the movies that I thought we reviewed here on the show. And we'll be reviewing other movies as well. So there'll be black films, but there also won't be black films. It'll be totally different films. And I'll give you a secret. No, I'm not going to share this one with you, because if you go to our Patreon account, we have a post up there right now where not only do we reveal what the first movie is that Ariel and I will be reviewing on Len's Other Movie Podcast, but we will also give patrons a little secret information about one of the secret projects that Vincent and I have been working on. We give you just the patrons some information about that. Only patrons will know about that secret project. We have been working very diligently on this, and we are excited to bring that to you in 2026. And we're going to give you the heads up if you become a patron of the Micheaux Mission. So go to patreon.com, Patreon, patreon.com, and look up Micheaux Mission. Become a patron.
Yes.
There you go.
$5.
It's only $5.
Less than a cup of coffee.
Amen. So we really appreciate that. All right?
Do the Sally Struthers bit for less than a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
For less than a cup of coffee, and then she'd sit there with
Right.
all these black children.
All these
Poor black children.
poor destitute.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Lots of moving, lots of grooving.
Lots of moving.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm looking here in the chat. I see George Kimono wants to know what tier brings the top 5 back. The top 5 will not be returning to the show, but we will be implementing a new ongoing feature tonight here on the show. That's going to be coming up in a couple of minutes. But first, we want to hear from you, missionaries. That means your emails, or as we like to call them,
Missives from the missionaries.
So what else is going on, Len? We have emails. Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the Missionaries. Vincent, we got an email from Doc G.
Hey, what's up, Doc G?
My good men of the Micheaux mission. Let's get to it.
Okay.
Like Nino Brown said in New Jack City, I'm going to be combinating and consolidating this week and last week's shows.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that New Jack City, Sugar Hill, and Above the Rim are a Harlem trilogy. Of course, you wouldn't know it by watching them. If that's the case, most of Spike Lee's movies take place in Brooklyn. Would you consider those movies trilogies or quads?
I mean, certainly there's it's funny. I know the hook for Red Hook Summer was that it took place in the Do the Right Thing universe. And if I remember correctly, the only real connection that you see is that towards the end, you see Mookie with his son.
Interesting.
And Mookie actually has on a Sal's Pizzeria jersey.
Okay.
Which then puts my head canon into actual canon, which is that Sal and Mookie were going to reconcile at the end to Do the Right Thing. And then the other...
Time heals all wounds.
Time and you're right, and you know, like in my mind, one of the great tragedies of Do the Right Thing, like the actual love story in the movie, is this father-son relationship between Mookie and Sal. Speaking of Mookie, and this is a spoiler for a 10-year-old, almost 10-year-old series at this point. Anthony Ramos plays Mars Blackman in the She's Gotta Have It television show that was on Netflix a few years ago. And the implication is that this is its own thing. But we find out in the final season that Mars Blackman's mother is Rosie Perez's character from Do the Right Thing.
Oh, wow.
And she talks about his father being this dude named Mookie, that she didn't even know his government and things fell apart. So then you have that as well. But I think those are the only real direct
like connections.
Connective tissue. I know and I forget the actor's name who plays Clay Davis in The Wire, and she
oh man.
But I know he plays a policeman in 25th Hour who says that. And I'm wondering, he might pop up in another Spike Lee movie.
Isaiah Whitlock.
Like he plays a policeman, a police detective in 25th Hour, I believe. And he might show up in another Spike Lee movie doing the same thing. But I believe those are the only real direct connective tissues.
Isn't Isaiah Whitlock in what's the Spike Lee Vietnam movie on Netflix?
The Five Bloods?
The Five Bloods. I think he's one of the Five Bloods.
I don't think he is.
I thought he was in that film.
I don't think he's one of the Five Bloods.
Now I have to look it up.
All right, so it's like Delroy Lindo.
He's in the Five Bloods.
Is he one of the five? Okay, well, there you go. If he's a detective, I guess. I don't know if they ever say what his job is.
Right, because that's after they got out of the war, because they go back.
Right. So remember, half of it is set in present day.
Right.
So, in theory, he could have been the same detective in 25th Hour.
Oh, we have to look that up.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to continue with Doc G's email. Let's see here. The conversation regarding Sugar Hill not getting the shine like the other two films can be attributed to the muted atmosphere. Could also be because his previous 5 films were high energy, and perhaps he wanted to show that he could play a more introspective character. Finally, going back to a list of Black films for an alien. Remember that?
Right. Early 60s, Twilight Zone alien. Prove your worth.
Are you all trying to have Earth conquered? Friday and Girls Trip. Oh, the tractor beams are going to be on full blast.
I didn't say Girls Trip. Lynn said Girls Trip.
I did say.
I think you can make an argument for Friday, though.
But Doc G suggests replacing those two films with Waiting to Exhale.
Okay.
And Paid in Full.
Oh, not Paid in Full.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think there are better versions of Paid in Full than Paid in Full.
But
yeah,
Doc considers that he has purged himself. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Okay.
The good doctor. Well, thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
for that.
Yes.
For that
yes.
email. I don't know if I 100% agree with where you're going there, but thank you.
Right.
Let's see. We have an email from Mark Loopy.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
Greetings to Len, Vincent, and missionaries. You know what just came to mind?
Okay.
This
what?
is going to age me, and the concept is dated, but I really want saxophones to be in movies again. I posed this question.
That's real talk, though. That's real talk. Not enough saxophones.
Well, he asked the question.
Okay.
Is the saxophone the sexiest instrument ever? Is there an instrument that comes close to a saxophone? I would say maybe a trumpet or the piano.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear your thoughts, and happy Denzel movie week for Crimson Tide.
Mm-hmm.
This is from last week from Mark Loopy. I have actually always contended that the saxophone is the sexiest instrument.
100%.
Yes.
Because it can be sleazy.
Mm-hmm.
It can be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
It can be sensual.
Yes.
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 Yes. Not enough saxophone.
Not enough saxophone.
Not enough saxophone. Let's bring saxophones back.
Very good.
In gauzy, in gauze.
Oh, we're going to put gauze on the screen.
On the screen. And have the camera move away from the couple in the embrace to the candles, to the lit candle, and then go to the candle being half lit to show that Tom has passed. And then come back to him.
You have just directed every compilation, romantic black sex compilation commercial ever.
Yeah, they fall into a loving embrace, and then it shifts over to the candle, and then the candle is half lit because Tom has passed. And then you come back, and they're talking about, when I was a kid, I remember the car hit my dog, and that was the first time that I cried. And and it kind of went from there.
But you see, now you just changed the mood.
Changed the mood. Just changed the mood. That's not him being vulnerable.
No.
That's just too much information.
It's too much information.
Too much information. Now she got to pick up soccer game in the morning. She's got to get up early.
We got an email from Michael Lockett.
All right.
Len, Vincent, my fellow missionaries, it is with deep remorse and condolences that I bid farewell to summer. I love summer, even though it still means I am working most of the time. I was only able to get through Philadelphia in my summer of comics. Obviously, it was outstanding. Last week's flick, which I've seen a dozen times, Crimson Tide, is a certifiable cinematic master class.
Mm-hmm.
The Wayback Machine, unfortunately, dropped me with you two as you reviewed Ghost Dad. Portier and Cosby must have been drunk or high or both when they concocted this madness. It is just so nonsensical in so many ways. This email, though, takes me back to when we did review this film.
Yeah.
And I think I may have mentioned it even like in the following weeks, that not long after we reviewed it, I heard from at least 3 people who said, dude, man, you just crushed my childhood, man.
Yeah.
They loved Ghost Dad.
Look, man, look.
There are people that cape for Ghost Dad.
But my question is always, when was the last time you watched it?
Of course. And all of them, to a fault, they watched it when they were kids.
Right. And then they just never watched. So they love the Ghost Dad in their head.
Well, okay, but the argument can be made that it is a movie for children. So maybe if think about the films that you loved when you were a kid.
Look,
not all of them hold up.
I don't want to relitigate Ghost Dad, but even as something that was made for children, and we talked about it, this concept that where the film starts and he dies.
Yeah. Look,
and the children are orphans.
I know.
And it's a bizarre
It
film.
is it's very bizarre. You're 100% correct.
So
very,
but
on it, Michael continues, on a completely different train of thought. Rewatching Crimson Tide made me think about what makes a villain a villain.
Sure.
I understand both Denzel and Hackman's motivations in Crimson Tide. Is villainy in the eyes of the beholder?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking on this, I began to wonder, what villain do you understand / agree with up to a point?
Oh.
For this thought experiment, I have to stand for Superman in Injustice Gods Among Us, which is a comic book series that has a movie, animated movie, if you want to look it up. His reasoning for ending the war on the planet and for challenging Batman's kid gloves when it comes to the Joker, I 100% understand and back him on. Obviously, the Man of Steel quickly starts crossing lines with his actions, but his motivations and rationale, I'm here for. What about you two? All the best, Michael Lockett. Looks like you maybe even had one of.
Oh yeah. It's my favorite villain in literature. Carl Lindner in A Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, okay.
The dude who represents the Clybourne Park Housing Association, who comes and tells the younger family that they don't want the black family to move into the neighborhood. And Lorraine Hansberry is so brilliant in building him. Like, he has this wonderful monologue about the American dream and simple people, simple folk, and all we have are these houses, and these houses represent our hopes and dreams and everything that we've sacrificed. And this is a community that we've built. And you have to say that people deserve to live in the kind of community they want to live in. And it is so insidious because you find yourself nodding your head, and he's making so much sense. But then he lands on basically calling them niggas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. But this is how it works. Like, if you are blessed to be an adult, you understand that villainy is not Lex Luthor and Thanos and Freddy Krueger. It's a little nebbish man who represents the housing authority, who just, again, and I love him. You know, I know that's not a sexy answer, but he's immediately my favorite villain in art.
Well, I hear you.
Like, I love Carl Lindner because he makes sense, which is what makes him dangerous.
Right. I'll give the sexy answer, which is Killmonger from Black Panther.
Yeah.
That's the sexy answer, because he basically calls Black Panther and Wakanda on their shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like, oh, y'all have had all this for this long?
Yeah.
And you've basically kept it to yourself? And he's not even talking about sharing it with the world. He's just talking about sharing it with the rest of Africa.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, just like stopping everything you've seen going on.
Yeah.
You know, but you protecting under this bubble. And the second he does that, it's the reason why everyone that watches that movie is like, yeah,
he makes good points.
He makes good points, man. You know what I mean? Like, do they have to go to great pains to show him being quote unquote villainous in the movie, because up to then you are right there lockstep with him.
Well, talking about Ryan Coogler, we were talking about with Sinners, and I think he's a much more subtle director than we maybe give him credit for, because so much of his output is bombastic. I love the subtle detail, the bookend to the exchange that T'Challa and Shuri have when T'Challa first comes into her lab and he's wearing the sandals, and what are those? And he says, these are traditional footwear, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the film, when they do decide to open up, he's wearing boots just like Killmonger. So he's almost literally walking in his shoes.
Yes.
And so I think that speaks to all of us with Killmonger as well. So there's the 12-part Netflix show you didn't know that you needed, Killmonger and Mr. Lindner.
Oh, wow.
Unsettling evil that makes more sense than you want it to.
Wow. All right. I'm going to go just keep it moving. We got one final email. This is from George Kimona.
Hey, what's up, George?
Jensen Missionaries, as quick as possible, because I'm very curious about tonight's movie. Crimson Tide is my second favorite submarine movie.
Okay.
Right behind The Hunt for Red October.
Okay, good one. Good one. That's
Almost
another good
every
one.
scene with Hackman and Washington is like watching two sharks circling each other, waiting to strike.
Yeah.
If there had been a sequel, it probably would have started with Hunter at Ramsey's funeral because he definitely would have drank himself to death.
Yeah.
And to the blurred of it all, Hunter in this movie looks like his formative years would have been the late 60s, early 70s, and that's prime comics and Star Trek syndication. I'm going to stick with the top 5 out of respect to the indigenous cousins who lost their mountain face and toss Delroy Lindo in there. As far as I think he's talking about our Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
I know he hasn't had a bunch of movies, but as a position player, he comes off the bench and gives you a memorable scene or line. As always, long live the mission, George Kimona. I hear you on the Delroy Lindo, but I think leading up to our Mount Rushmore, we can have like a series of statues of certain actors.
Sure.
And I have no problem with Delroy Lindo being on that walk of thespians.
Yeah.
I think that's where you find Delroy. That's where you find Alfre Woodard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where you might find any number of actors.
Right.
And mind you, this Mount Rushmore we were talking about is only from the 80s until now.
Right.
Because if we went through all of time, there's more than a few people that have been knocked off of that Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? Even though, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, just real quick, if we went through all of time, you're definitely putting Sidney up there.
Of course.
Denzel probably still has his place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Denzel still has his place. The other names that we had up there were Angela Bassett and Viola Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Are you maybe putting Dorothy Dandridge instead of Viola?
No, I don't think so. I think Dorothy Dandridge gets a statue.
Okay.
Because outside of Porgy and Bess and Carmen Jones, what's the big Dorothy Dandridge role?
But I'm also thinking there does.
We're just talking about just as icons.
Yeah, because there does hold a space for icons.
And then I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but the fascinating thing about Dorothy Dandridge is that if you're old enough, which you remember, is that Dorothy Dandridge really became Dorothy Dandridge, frankly, after that Halle Berry HBO movie.
And people started to reconsider her career.
So even Dorothy Dandridge is in a lot of ways standing on Halle Berry's shoulders.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So then Angela Bassett is still there.
Right.
And then we're putting up Paul Robeson.
Yeah, Paul Robeson. Yeah, unfortunately, when we talk about Black actresses,
I know they didn't get the opportunity to really pop like that.
Right. Cicely Tyson. I guess you got to throw Cicely Tyson in there.
But it's probably a statue.
Right. But quite honestly, who's the serious Black actress? I mean, like I've been in 3 movies before Cicely Tyson.
Ruby Dee.
Ruby Dee. I mean, but even Ruby Dee. So Ruby Dee.
But again,
What? I mean, Ruby Dee, off the top of your head, Raisin in the Sun.
Mm-hmm. She's an uptight.
No, we're talking about. I'm not saying she wasn't in movies.
Oh, so you're talking about where she's at least.
I'm saying iconic films.
Wow. Then you got Raisin in the Sun.
Right. Maybe if you wanted to squint, Pearly, but even that.
Yeah. And I don't think what's the Western? The Sidney Poitier Western.
Oh, Buck and the Preacher.
But that's not, but I don't think that's iconic.
Right. And again, and I don't think we can say this enough, this is not a reflection on these actresses' work. This
not
is
at
a
all.
reflection on how they just did not have the opportunities.
Somebody that just came to my mind. This is how you can go down rabbit holes with this conversation that we didn't mention from 80s to 20.
Mm-hmm.
is Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg's got to be. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. I think, who do we say?
We said
Angela Bassett and Viola Davis?
I think that knocks Viola off.
I was about to say, I think Whoopi Goldberg and Viola Davis might have a fight.
I don't think they have a fight. I think Whoopi Goldberg
It's actually
knocks,
Whoopi.
I think she knocks Viola Davis off. Because honestly, it probably 80s to now.
Yeah.
It's Denzel.
I think you're right. I think
Samuel
Whoopi
Jackson.
is so big, we didn't even think about her as...
Right.
Yeah, no.
Whoopi Goldberg.
You're 100% right.
And Angela Bassett.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
That's... Wow, we need to redo the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. So,
We're sorry, Whoopi. We're sorry.
yeah.
But you deserve all that.
Yeah.
That's been our emails. If you want to share your thoughts, you can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheauxmission@gmail.com. Before we go to our next feature, which actually plays a part in a bit of this conversation that we just had, Vincent, this weekend, you went to the movies.
I did go to the movies. We saw Highest to Lowest.
Nice. The
And
Spike Lee.
the new Spike Lee film, as all of the advertising says, the 5th film he's made with Denzel Washington.
Right. And this is one that stars A$AP Rocky as well.
This has A$AP Rocky in it. This has Jeffrey Wright in it. And of course, once again, Denzel Washington. And it is, as of this recording, it's going to be on Apple TV in a few days.
On September 5th.
September 5th. But, you know, talk about a little bit. And as you and I talked on the elevator, the real question with these small windows is it worth seeing this in the movies?
Yeah.
And, you know, I liked it. I didn't love it. This is a film about a man named David King, who was a music executive, and his son gets kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
And then complications arise. This is based on a
Kira Kurosawa.
a Kurosawa film called High to Low from 1963. High and Low, which itself was based on the 1959 novel King's Ransom by Ed McBain. And like I said, I like it. I think I'll start with critiques first.
Okay.
End on the positive. One is more of an optics sort of style thing. The other, I think, is a more substantive critique that really kind of speaks to, you know, a challenge I think Spike Lee has had before. One, just the optics of it, and you know, I feel kind of weird talking about it, but this is the type of detail that I think people notice, and we have talked about, frankly, over the years. There are 3 female love interests in this film.
Okay.
You know, Denzel Washington's David King has a wife, and she is played by Ilfinish Hadira, who is a biracial Ethiopian actress, and she is very light.
Okay.
A$AP Rocky has a partner, and I don't, you know, she's only in like one scene. She might be Afro-Latina, perhaps. She is very light.
Okay.
And then there is a plot detail about David King's son, who is, because David King is a music executive, and his son is pursuing this woman who he says is very talented. And of course, you know, towards the end of the film, you actually get to meet this character, and she sings. And she is also, once again, very light.
Interesting.
And it is noticeable. It is noticeable, and you know, you and I have talked about it. The actress LaChanze, I believe her name is pronounced, plays a police detective, and she's brown, but she's a police detective. You know, she got on a suit, and she's horrible. And you know, we've talked about colorism. We talked about, you know, the politics of desirability, and it was enough that it's noticeable.
Okay.
And you know, and you and I have talked about this before. And to be clear, all 3 of these actresses, like, they all did their jobs fine. Like, their actual performances did not take from the film. but they did fine. Like there was nothing about
nothing stand out.
There
about
was nothing stand. Like I said, and her name is Ethiopian, so I apologize if I mispronounce it. Ilfinish Hadira is fine. Like she's fine as Denzel Washington's character's wife. One of my little pet peeves is oftentimes how couples that have been together are portrayed, and they were believable.
Okay,
as a couple that has been together for like 20 years.
That have history,
right? But this is very much a role. Nicole Bahari, our friend Simone Missick, Karen Pittman has just played this role amazingly on Forever this summer. Like this is, again, you could have had some, Wendy had a wonderful idea. Like this is a film that, speaking of Spike Lee, and he's at this moment in his life where he's kind of pulling in all the old gang, almost like Nick Totoro's in here for a split second. Wow. Rosie Perez has a little cameo. Joie Lee would have been amazing in this role.
Yeah, what's she been up to?
Again, the sister who plays A$AP Rocky's partner has one scene. So it's there. And to be clear, the sister that comes in at the end as this singer can sing her ass off. Like she can sing. Like nobody in this film got in this film because of how they look.
Okay.
But I've been to Brooklyn. Like you can find a sister that can sing in Brooklyn that don't have to pass the paper bag test. And again, I think this is something that we talk about this. Like we've been to, speaking of Simone, y'all look, it's on the tape. When Simone was on here years ago talking about coming to America.
Yep. Yes, she did.
And this is something that has been an ongoing conversation. And it just sort of annoyed me because it's the type of little thing. It was like, come on, man.
It took you out of it a little bit?
It didn't even take me. It was just it's sort of like Zazie Beetz in The Harder They Fall. It was just like, it's just sort of unnecessary. But this is a little, I think you can decide how little or big a thing it is. Again, this is an ongoing conversation. It was enough that it was noticeable enough for me to say.
Nice here.
But that is sort of a cosmetic thing, literally a cosmetic thing.
Okay.
The other bigger thing, again, this is based on an old film, which is based on a novel. And in the old film, the man whose son gets kidnapped is an executive at a company. He's very well to do. He's at this company. It has been adapted so that now this character is a music executive. He's basically a babyface L.A. Reid type.
Okay.
And the problem with that is now you have the script and Spike Lee talking about music. And I realize that there's other side to something that we've been talking about on and off over the past couple of months, where I said if the median audience of a musical group is under 45, I don't want to be at the venue.
Yes.
Like I don't want to be in a live venue where the median age of the crowd is under 45. The other side of that, if you are over 45, I don't want to hear anything you have to say about the kids and their music.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like the music. You don't like, you sure? I mean, Spike Lee, you're in your 60s.
Yeah. Denzel
Washington is damn near 70. Like, why are you talking about the kids and their music? Like, what are you doing right now? And, we were just...
So is that what they're doing? Or
right. Like, it's just part of the detail of the plot. Like, it's not the main plot. But there is this detail where he's a music executive in the music business and streaming and negativity, to rap. And it's like, come on, man.
So I'm just trying to understand. So they're talking about music because that's his business.
Right.
But they're talking against it.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. One of the things, you know that and this isn't really a spoiler, like the little sister at the end that can sing. This is what music should be, basically. Like, you know, there's all this bit about Aretha Franklin and James Brown, and look, and Spike Lee been doing this since at least Clockers. Like, there was a whole bit in Clockers about that, where it's just clunky. So that part also kind of got me. Now, I love Lion in Winter, Denzel Washington. Like, as I said, he's very, like, depicting this husband, depicting this father. I love Denzel Washington. I think Denzel Washington is good in this film with everybody. I don't know if Denzel and Jeffrey Wright have ever worked together, but my God, Jeffrey Wright plays his boy. Every moment with Denzel Washington and Jeffrey Wright is extraordinary. Like Denzel, like just
They have worked together though.
what they work together in.
They were in The Manchurian Candidate.
They sure were. That's a good pull. Well, they are fantastic together. Nobody loves New York like a New Yorker. This film is a love letter to New York.
Okay.
And if you love New York and you love seeing New York, Spike Lee, his passion and love for this city shines through.
Usually does.
Speaking of LaChance, who plays a detective, the other cast member in this film, John Douglas Thompson. I'm not going to say he steals the movie, but he plays part of the detective team. There's a 3-person detective team. It's LaChance who plays a detective, John Douglas Thompson who plays a detective, and then I guess they kind of moved all that insurance commercial money out the way, and Dean Winters.
Okay.
The 3 of them played the detective team that's in charge of this investigation. Len, I
You
just
could have watched the movie.
But you know what I realized? Speaking of Isaiah Whitlock, who played a policeman. Appropriately enough, Denzel Washington and Chiwetel Ejiofor in Inside Man. You and I talked about John Turturro in The Miracle at St. Anna. Spike Lee does great cops. And I know it's never going to happen just because of the propaganda part of it. But what I realize is what I really want. I don't know who the New York equivalent of David Simon is. Like, I need that crime reporter from New York who knows New York inside out. I need him and Spike Lee to make a police procedural. They are so good as police. So I land on, I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it more than the Black Klansman, which frankly I thought was overrated. I didn't like it as much as The Five Bloods. But the question is this something that you need to see in the movies? And my answer is only if you're a very specific type of person. And this is the type of person that I think could really enjoy this in the movies. There's a type of criticism where people talk about the kitchens in Nora Ephron films.
Yes.
Where you know she has these wonderful, elaborate kitchens. So a lot of people go and see the Nora Ephron films and just geek out over the kitchens and stuff. I do a version of that where I call it the post-Huxtable, well-appointed Black household.
I get that.
So,
I do it too.
so you know, I think the first time, frankly, I ever noticed it appropriately enough, for the Sweet Blood of Jesus, the remake of Ganja and Hess that Spike Lee did, the character's house had all this amazing Black art in it. I just mentioned Forever. One of my favorite parts of Forever is Karen Pittman and Wood Harris's house. Like they're frankly well-to-do Black people. Mm-hmm. So it's all this amazing art. David King's house is remarkable. Basquiat paintings, Jacob Lawrence paintings. This, like, at one point I actually gasped because at one point there was a shadow boxed first edition of Their Eyes Were Watching God. So that I don't like to talk into movies, but the one thing that we kept saying back and forth to each other, me and my wife, I wonder if that's from Denzel's collection or Spike Lee's collection. Because it's their stuff. Like, it's their stuff that they've now, brought out to the movie. And look, man, I think I've seen a Basquiat in person maybe 3 times in my life, like just at the museum exhibits. Speaking of the Huxtables, like the Bill and Camille Cosby, they had a showing of their collection at the Smithsonian like 10, 15 years ago, and I had never been that close to a Basquiat and a Jacob Lawrence and stuff. So it was amazing seeing that. Like there's this one shot in particular where it's like a Basquiat painting. And then I think it's like 4 Jacob Lawrences
just around it,
framing it. But the whole, like every time they showed their penthouse apartment, it was just loving shot after loving shot. So if you like that, if you are a lover of art, then I very much say you should see this on the big screen.
Because of this short window that it has, I realize, this is just them giving it a short window because it's Spike Lee. Yeah, we're going to give you a couple of weeks in the movie theaters, make a little bit of dough, but we ultimately don't care because it's going to be on streaming, and that's where they're going to make the most of their money, as far as Apple is concerned. And I say make back most of their money. Apple don't really even care because Apple got money, like more money than 8 gods. So they just want to be in the Spike Lee business. Right. So when I realized that, despite this tour that Spike and Denzel have been on, which if you just go by the clips from the tour, it's all about them talking about everything except the movie.
Yeah.
I realized I don't necessarily need to see this movie in the theaters. Spike ain't looking for it, doesn't need the money. Denzel doesn't need the money. A$AP Rocky doesn't need the money.
No, he's good too. I didn't mention A$AP Rocky. I wish he was in it more.
So he's not, because I thought that he was going to be playing the son.
He does not play the son.
It's interesting that he doesn't play the son.
Yeah.
I knew Jeffrey Wright was in there, but I just figured he was like an associate or something like that.
Right.
Or when hearing that it was the kidnapper, maybe he's the kidnapper.
Right.
Or something. But so none of these people really need to dough. So I was like, then I will just wait.
Well, there you go. If you want to see it on the big screen, the Basquiat on the big screen, I say go see it. Len say you see it on your TV. Maybe people don't have a 50-inch TV, but I'm just saying. So there you go. Highest to lowest.
Well, thank you for the review.
Yeah.
Another mini review here.
Another mini review
on the Micheaux. Terry, we're going to hold off on the new feature. We're going to hold off on that till next week, just because of time. And we're going to move into the Game of Kings.
That you have to see on the big screen.
That's right. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. Six Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he has 6 films or less to connect them to D'Urville Martin, a man you could only see on the big screen.
All right, who's my second?
All right,
rapper turned actor, Will Smith.
Oh, if it only was that easy. No,
Queen Latifah.
No.
LL Cool J. Ice Cube. Is it Ice Cube?
No.
I can do Ice Cube.
You're getting warmer.
Okay.
It is not Ice Cube. In 6 films or less, connect Derville Martin to Yo-Yo.
You can't play with my yo-yo.
I wouldn't want to.
Yo-Yo is in Who's the Man?
She is.
Did she do anything besides Who's the Man?
Yes.
What else is she in? It doesn't matter. I'm using Who's
You're going to use
Man.
Who's the Man.
Yeah, I'm just sort of curious now.
Well, she has a small blink and you miss her in Menace to Society. But
she sure is, because she's at the cookout.
Right. But you actually see her she's in Sister Act 2.
Who is she in Sister Act 2?
She plays Sandra.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess that solves that mystery.
She's also in Panther. She plays a pregnant junkie.
I've not seen Panther since it came out.
And she is sister number 3 in Sprung.
She's sister. I quietly remember that in Sprung.
And she plays herself, apparently, in Boys in the Hood.
In Boys in the Hood. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, shoot, let's keep it in theme. Derville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is in Highest to Lowest with Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is in Shaft with Busta Rhymes. And then Busta Rhymes is in Who's the Man with Yo-Yo.
Very good. Do you know her role in Who's the Man?
Oh, here's a funny thing. In my head, as I was talking, I thought she was the love interest, but that's Salt, who's the love interest. So I actually stumbled into this.
Oh, interesting. So it's not even that you remember.
I was thinking about Salt the whole time until you said it. Salt is the love interest.
Yeah, yeah.
Who is Yo-Yo?
Her role is woman.
Wow.
You lucked up.
Well, the funny thing is I'm thinking about her at the picnic table,
but that's
and Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, I get, sort of shorthand with this. I'm going to just tell you, anytime you say a rapper, I'm just going to assume they were in Who's the Man.
Well, there is a bit where you see a whole bunch of them. So that is true. That is true. That is a safe bet.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
that is a safe bet.
Look at me.
So rappers of a certain era.
Yeah,
you
90s.
Go, Who's the Man?
I just assume you were Who's the Man.
If it's a little earlier era, you go Crush Groove.
Yeah, yeah. That is 100% correct.
What's another film that maybe you could...
With just rappers or just general?
A lot of rappers. There's a ton of rappers in Belly.
Belly's a good one. But my sort of hodgepodge potluck of black actors is like Biker Boys. It's like, shit, it was probably in Biker Boys. He was in Biker Boys? So, yeah, you say CL Smooth. He was in Who's the Man? The Fushnikins. Certainly they were in Who's the Man? The Dream Warriors. Oh, they were from Canada, but probably in Who's the Man? The UMCs. Oh, I like Blue Cheese. You know what Blue Cheese is good on?
Oh, my God.
Who's the Man?
I remember Blue Cheese.
Yeah, you remember Blue Cheese?
I remember Blue Cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Ed OG and the Bulldogs. They were from Boston. Probably in Who's the Man?
Ed OG and the Bulldogs. That takes me back real quick.
And remember, Bulldogs was an acronym?
Yeah, I don't remember
It was
what
probably
for.
something real positive.
Yeah, of course.
Black unity, love long.
Dogs.
Right.
Yeah, because it was the time. But I remember in the days of Third Street Jazz here in Philadelphia.
Mhm. Great
And
store.
the job I would have every payday, I would go and buy a new cassette.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a chance.
Mm-hmm. I said to UMC's Damon.
I would take you guys, you brothers. I would take a chance on a cassette, and I bought
the UMCs.
No, I didn't buy the UMCs, but I bought Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs.
Did you really?
I did because
slow week.
Well, it was a slow week, but it sounded like R. Kelly and what was R. Kelly's group?
Oh, what was R. Kelly's?
R. Kelly and the
Public Announcement.
And the Public Announcement.
Public Announcement.
So I was like, oh, it's probably along the same lines. Because it was like R. Kelly and Public Announcement, Heavy D and the Boys, Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs.
So just something with "and" in it?
If I remember the album cover,
it looked nothing like R. Kelly and Public Announcement.
But
R. Kelly and Public Announcement, they were all wearing, they had on leather pants.
Yes.
And like, a leather vest. And Ed O.G., I think, was just dressed like he probably had on like Hilfiger in a backpack.
Right. But I thought that for some reason it
Is it because they're black? Is it because they're black?
It probably was.
It's because they were all black.
They were.
You just think all the blacks made the same kind of music? This is super racist.
It's not racist. It was hip hop.
I
was taking a chance on a hip hop.
R. Kelly won hip hop?
No, but I'm just saying.
It's because he's black?
No, because I would get some R&B and I get a hip hop. It's because he's black. No, it wasn't because he was black.
You just bond the blacks.
I remember the album cover.
It's just blacks.
Looking kind of like interesting.
It was a dude used to come in a record store that I worked in that he exclusively bought white jazz. And we used to mess with him.
Exclusively?
Like he would buy Stan Getz. He would buy, Vince Guaraldi albums. He would buy Chet Baker. Like that was his deal. And we used to mess with him. He was like, oh, you're getting this Chet Baker reissue. You know who else was a good trumpet player? Maybe some Miles. They have this Miles. Or you want this Miles? Oh, no. And we would actually mess with him. Like we wanted him to say, I just want white people that play jazz.
See, I'm now looking at Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs album covers. Not only do none of them look very interesting at all.
Yes. Come on, dog. I worked at the record store. Like, I know what this stuff looked like.
They don't look interesting at all.
Yeah.
And
Who was their song? They had a good song.
Did they?
Why are you talking all
crazy?
Must have. Like, why are you talking all crazy?
Made me buy
everybody who bought Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs cassette raised their hand. What was all that? Did they? Did they? Talking real crazy about Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs. Did they? What was that for?
I'm looking.
Did they? Damn, Len.
I got to have it.
That was a good song.
That was a hit. Yeah. There you go. So I bought their album.
Oh, that's right. My brother said their other song. And be a father to your child.
That's what, yeah.
And be a father to your child.
Yes.
NOG was trying to address the plague of black fatherlessness.
Yeah. NOG. So I bought his album.
Right.
I gave the brother some play. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
What? You got a problem with that? Why ain't you buy it? Why ain't you give him some play?
Because I didn't think he was that good.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I didn't play it up much.
Right.
Anyway.
And the traffic was so thick. Like I know Gangstar had come out. It's like, ooh, do I get this NOG or do I? Ooh.
Okay,
ooh,
but I was
stakes as high as I guess. So is NOG?
It was a slow week.
De La Soul, I was about to say.
It's a slow week.
It's like,
and I bought NOG.
It's like, ooh, main source. I get NOG or main source.
Look, you never bought an album and then regretted it?
I don't know if I regret it when I bought it. I was embarrassed.
You were embarrassed?
I'm embarrassed now. Like I actually purchased a Too Hype Kid and Play's second album where they're on the cover and Too Hype. And I used to argue with people about Kid and Play's second album, Too Hype. I was like, too hype is it. We should probably talk about the
I'll take my Ed OG.
It was getting funky. Okay. All right.
It's time for us to, it's way past time for us to move into our review of All Up in the Biz.
All Up in the Biz, a 2023 documentary focusing on the life and death of Biz Markie through a collage of celebrity interviews, rare film reenactments, and playful animation on an artist who left an indelible mark in the history of hip hop. Directed and written by Sasha Jenkins, this was the choice of Len Webb here on our first week of Doc to School. Len, what do you got to say about All Up in the Biz?
I got a few things I want to say about this movie. I watched it for the first time. Now I guess it maybe have been a year ago, but I caught it just randomly watching.
I know you didn't tell me to watch it, but go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I told you about it.
You probably didn't. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, but it's a documentary that was done not long after Biz Markie passed away, complications of diabetes, which is unfortunately a story that is as old as time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For people and for Black men.
Absolutely.
And what I appreciated watching it for the first time and again watching it this time is if you're a fan of Biz Markie and his career and how he started in hip hop, he came out in the days of hip hop, it's kind of like, it wasn't the earliest days of hip hop, but hip hop was becoming a force.
Yeah.
It was showing its staying power by the time that Biz Markie started to populate. And it was a home to, it was slowly developing from just hip hop into hip hop genres. So you had your battle MCs, you had your groups, and there was a lane for someone to just be funny, to just be out there and just have a good time on the microphone. And I don't mean have a good time, just be, hyping up the party, like the old school DJ or anything like that. Just being 100% just having fun on the microphone, right? I think probably the earliest example of this, or probably the most popular example from pre-Biz Markie, was probably the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
To me.
Sure.
A group who I think is actually overdue to be, mentioned here on the Micheaux Mission.
Uh-oh, Disorderly's coming soon.
And Biz Markie follows right in line with the Fat Boys, because the Fat Boys famously featured the human beatbox, and Biz Markie got his start as a beatboxer. And he would get on the microphone and he would just have a ball. He would just have fun. You could not smile listening to a Biz Markie album.
Sure.
Any of his records, any of his songs. And watching this documentary, you could not smile at how much this felt like Biz Markie made it, because it is light. It is even though it does deal with some serious topics, like his final year of life. There is a lightness to this documentary. There is creativity to this documentary. It flows from archival footage to music sound clips to animation to puppetry to cartooning, and none of it ever feels out of place. It feels seamless in its editing, in its flow. And while I don't think this documentary is some like hard hitting, retrospective on his life, it feels like you're getting the genuine story.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Absolutely.
Like, are there some questions that it maybe doesn't dig into? There's one or two that you could point to, and I'll point to a couple of them, but you never feel like this is trying to rewrite the narrative of who this man was. Biz Markie, was a person who rose to fame from the early days of hip hop, but rose out of a very troubled youth, and that he famously held tight to his vest, would not give into a little bit. Lost his mom at an early age, became like went into the foster system, that lived with another family who basically raised him and encouraged his creativity. He was someone who fell into a joy of cartoons and comedy and used that as a deflection from the life that he was living, from the more darker edges of his life, and used that as a way of making connections with the people in his life, whether it be his foster brother and sisters, with all of his friends who all are in this documentary. I mean, the friends that he grew up with, his foster siblings, and each of them has interesting, loving stories to tell about Biz Markie, growing up with him, how he was filled with laughter, he was filled with joy, and he was 100% authentically him. He didn't put on airs for anyone. And all of those stories just start bubbling up. He's someone who finds hip hop and finds his way in hip hop and says like, oh, this can be another way where I can exercise my creativity. I can, show who I am. And it's true of a lot of comedians. They say a lot of comedians can be so funny because they use that funny to hide their pain.
Right.
And you could see that that's what Biz Markie was doing. He was being this outrageous, gregarious fellow to kind of like hide some of the pain from his upbringing, the losing of his parents. You could sense it in him. You could sense the connections that he made with people was, and how he held on tight to those connections. How he fostered those relationships. His relationship with Big Daddy Kane. How he met Big Daddy Kane as a young rapper and told Big Daddy Kane like, yo, I'm trying to get out here in hip hop, and when I do, I'm going to come and I'm going to lift you up with me. And Big Daddy Kane, and I've seen Big Daddy Kane interviewed maybe a dozen times.
Yeah.
And in every interview, regardless of what is going, he always name checks. I am here because of Biz Markie.
That's right.
Because Biz Markie came back for me and brought me up, man. And Kane is not the only one. Roxanne Shante in this talks about her connection and how she got on because Biz got on. Rakim talks about their connection. The other big thing about this documentary from the first time that I saw it was seeing Rakim. And if everyone knows, if you love hip hop, you know Rakim, and he's almost seen as like one of the gods of hip hop.
That's the God.
That is the God,
That's
right?
the God MC, yeah.
So much so, and I think he lives that persona that he never takes it off.
No.
But in this documentary, to see Rakim not only just reminisce about, meeting Biz Markie in school, elementary school.
Yeah.
Elementary school in the lunchroom. And Biz Markie doing the beatbox and Rakim rhyming in elementary school and talking about the friendship that developed between them. And then to see Rakim, the God MC, fight back tears.
It's actually disconcerting.
Talking about his relationship with Biz Markie. To see Big Daddy Kane fight back tears.
Yeah.
Talking about his relationship with Biz Markie. And if none of that hits you in this documentary, to see them actually then, two other things. There is this story, Biz Markie, he brought up Kane, he got with Marley Marl, put him out there. He would work with Marley Marl. One of the originators of the Juice Crew. If you know your hip hop history, look it up. And from there, he meets all the guys with the Juice Crew, including Master Ace. And Master Ace wants to do a track with Biz Markie, me, and the Biz. Comes up with this track, does a test track like, here, and then, Biz, this is how I see you sounding on this track. Master Ace is walking with Marley Marl. Marley Marl and Biz have a falling out because Biz, don't let the look fool you. This big, gregarious, over the top person, not an idiot, recognizes that, hey, I'm producing with Marley Marl, saves up his money, gets his own production equipment with his partner Cool V, and says, hey, we can build up our tracks ourselves and then take them to Marley, and now they can be co-productions. Marley, he ain't having that. Because Marley's, trade, his stock and trade at that time is that he is doing Marley Marl tracks. And Marley Marl is not a rapper, was not like a party DJ. He was a music producer. So
Marley Marl synthesized it.
Right. That was his stock and trade. So he did not want to share any type of credit. So that caused a rift between him and Biz Markie. Master Ace has this track he wants to do with Biz. But because of the rift with Marley, it can't get done. Master Ace, he releases the track anyway, with him doing the Biz part. There's a music video to it, done with a puppet of Biz Markie.
But it's not Biz's voice.
It's not Biz's voice.
It's him imitating Biz.
It's him imitating Biz, and like he mentions here in the documentary, that is because the track that it was put out was the sample track that he created to just show what Biz would sound like, to get an idea of like how he saw the track sounding. But it got released. There was a music video. It was a single. We're talking about back in the late 80s, early 90s. We're not talking about something that was released last week. It then, of course, widened the rift, not only with Marley Marl, but with all of the Juice Crew, except Big Daddy Kane and a couple of others who Biz, because as you will learn in this documentary, Biz knew everyone.
Yeah.
But with Master Ace, it severed that relationship totally. And Master Ace never apologized for it. He never apologized for it over the years. And it probably is one of those things, maybe egos getting in the way. Master Ace, he was not long for like prominence in the rap game. So maybe his star started to, his luster fell off of him. So Biz probably didn't even care after a certain point. But in this documentary, Master Ace takes time to do an apology to Biz Markie. Some may say that it might come off a little hollow, a little bit, why now? So what now? Me, the way that they do it, with him doing it to the same Biz Markie puppet that he had, well, it's actually not the same puppet. But there is a Biz Markie puppet that is representing Biz Markie in this documentary in a loving way, and I'll go on that about in a second. But him doing a little poem / rap to Biz Markie in this documentary, I actually was touched by it because I actually felt that he was being sincere in that moment. I didn't think that he was playing for the camera. I think he was being sincere to the moment. So that actually struck with me. But then the other part, and I talk about this puppet that represents Biz Markie. Outside of that one scene, this puppet is only seen in a hospital bed because they do interstitial recreations of the last year of Biz Markie's life. When he had a stroke due to suffering from diabetes, he was in the hospital. Actually, we learned from 2 different hospitals over time. And they recreate moments in the hospital room with Biz and his wife, Tara Hall, who is actually one of the co-producers of this documentary and is featured in the documentary. And I think that the reproductions of those scenes are, first of all, I think it's a brilliant concept to do that as a way of kind of trying to bring him actually as much as you can into this moment. And in doing so, at the time when he was in the hospital, there's some footage, some pictures that she took of him in the hospital.
Sure.
They splice some of that in. They splice moments that he shared with his stepdaughter, Tara's daughter, which I think is a loving moment as well. But I thought that was brilliantly done. I thought it was a nice way of having his voice be heard. I thought it was also a nice way of her voice and her point of view being heard in this documentary that is first and foremost a exploration of her husband's life.
Yes.
And I think it shows a lot of the highs, but it shows enough of the lows. It speaks to some of the warts that he had. And I thought it was a very sweet way of showing their relationship.
Sure.
She spoke of their relationship as a loving relationship that was born of friendship.
Right.
Which is, should be the building block of any friendship.
Sure.
Any lasting relationship. And I thought that was very sweetly done. Very nice touch. I thought that the recollections, the story of his rise, to see how big he became because of Just a Friend, which is a track that if you put it on right now, that first note, everyone knows what the song is. Everyone starts singing it. And I mean people our age. I mean people my daughter's age. I mean people my grandson's age. They know that song. They know the original of that song because it has become one of the timeless treasures of music in general, not just Black music. And I think that this documentary gets it right. It places him in his right space and time in hip hop. He is, we said it, he is indeed an icon of hip hop.
Absolutely.
Because he was just him, and he could do every part of hip hop. In his later years, he became, the black celebrity DJ. And my God, he was it. He was you saw him everywhere. He didn't want to be the old man in the club, but now he was the man spinning the music and making people get down and party and having a great time. And you knew every place he went, he was having a great time. Again, were there some questions that weren't answered? Maybe you wish that there would have been the opportunity to maybe dig a little deeper into his childhood, but the opportunity wasn't there. But I think enough of it is there. I think his foster siblings show enough.
Sure.
Do I think that there maybe is a little bit more to the breakup with Marley Marl than is explored here? I think so.
Of course there is.
But I think enough of it gets out, enough that I care about.
Yeah.
You know? And do I think there is, towards the end, of course, words given to how he lived, the reason why he fell into the state that he did in his last couple of years. Could there have been maybe more exploration on that? Perhaps. All told, I thought it was enough there. I thought it was still honest. We talk about a lot of times when the family is involved with a production, sometimes these documentaries ring hollow because of it. Ring of just vanity projects. I think his wife being so involved in this maybe gives you that fear of it. But I think Sasha Jenkins, who was such an extraordinary documentarian and journalist, journalist himself, kept this film honest. The mission statement of this film to explore fully Biz Markie's life kept it honest, and because of that, I think this is, in the world of hip hop documentaries, it's one of the best ever.
Well, look, I think starting there, that this tension that you feel when the family is involved, and the implication is that they don't want the subject to have a be shown in a bad light. It seems like it was not that big of a deal with Biz Markie, because this whole project is a testament to the kind of man that he was. As you said, you have people in Biz Markie's life from the very beginning to the very end who love this man. Like you talk about his foster siblings and people from when he was young in Long Island, but all the way to the end. You got Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
You have both Method Man and Ghostface Killer. Like, by the time Wu-Tang Clan becomes famous, he is an icon. So everyone seems to have loved him. I loved every moment of this documentary. And this is the type of project that, frankly, I'm very passionate about, and we have talked about over the years. Like, we are in this moment where we are writing the legacy of hip hop. Like, we are actually writing this narrative. We are writing this history, and it is so bizarre to see in front of our eyes, as people who were there, the shaping of narratives, the nipping, the tucking, the this is the that's.
Yeah. And
Biz Markie represents a period of hip hop history that I think is still relatively untouched. Like I think the early kind of Cold Crush, Sugar, like there's a great Sugar Hill Gang documentary, you know, I Want My Name Back. And I do think even something like the show The Get Down, which touches on a little bit of this very early part of hip hop. And then we've talked about the West Coast part with Straight Outta Compton, and they did. But this kind of pocket, as you said, this isn't the beginning of hip hop, but that mid to late 80s pocket is relatively untouched with the Juice Crew. And I just loved how much sheer information is in this documentary from primary sources.
Yeah, people were never there.
Frankly, I think there are like 3 or 4 documentaries that you could pull from this. You talk about like the Great Juice Crew documentary is one that's waiting to be made. His relationship with Dapper Dan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the Shirt Kings, and you talk about the clothing. As you mentioned, all of these MCs that were involved with this, and it was beautiful. Like, it was beautiful watching all of these men, all of these women pay tribute to someone who, at one point in the documentary, someone referred to him as the Forrest Gump of hip hop, where he really was.
Yep, he's everywhere.
He really was everywhere. And again, I just loved the sheer information. I have to say, in full disclosure, I was embarrassed as I was watching. I learned this afternoon. I didn't know that wasn't Biz on Me and the Biz.
Really?
I learned this afternoon that was not Biz Markie on Me and the Biz.
I always knew that.
I never knew that. Like, I always liked Master Ace. Like, I like Master Ace. I always knew, I never really kind of hear things from Marley Marl, but I love the fact that this is documented. Like, this is there. As you said, Big Daddy Kane has always been very vocal about how important Biz Markie was to his career. But I love, in a Biz Markie project, Kane gets this opportunity to talk, man. As you mentioned Rakim and Roxanne Shante, and Molly Mall, even and his contribution. And this is the exact type of project that I want to see more and more of, where again, while because unfortunately, this unfortunately has been my mantra for years. I think when Black men die that are younger than 40, it is shocking and surprising and sad. But if you are a Black man and you die over the age of 40, nobody is ever that surprised. Like, it's sad, but no one is surprised. And we went through that period over the past 2-3 years. Like, it was a little shocking seeing Trugoy on here from De La Soul, and in Fife, and Biz Markie, where there was that minute. It was like, damn, are any of these brothers going to hit 60? Like, there were all these brothers dying. So unfortunately, not to be morbid, I think we got to get these stories. And you got to get these stories from the actual participants who were there. So I think the critique that we oftentimes had, just to circle back to what you said about these projects where the estate is involved. I think the estate being involved in this particular project really just opened up the vault.
Yeah.
So that people said, well, his wife gave the clearance. His wife gave it her blessing. So now I want to come and talk about it. And that was amazing. The archival footage,
man.
As you said, Biz was a collector, and Biz is is one of the most famous. Like it's an ongoing conversation between me and you, and something me and my brother have talked about for years. Like this notion that a lot of these MCs, and certainly the MCs of this period, are just big old nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Like the overlap between blurs and MCs in the 90s MC world is a circle.
Yepper.
You know, so Biz was always almost the patron saint of this.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about a documentary, I want to see a documentary about his collection. Like I've heard whispers of the Biz Markie collection over the years, including our friend. I feel like the last time we talked to Scheme, like Scheme was talking about
Mm-hmm.
it, like this. So even that, where she opens up the vault, so you see all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you forget. Again, just the Forrest Gump of it. I love the conversation around the lawsuit.
Yeah.
The sampling lawsuit
Mm-hmm.
with Alone Again.
Yeah, Gilbert Sullivan.
Gilbert Sullivan, which I never knew that detail until I always knew that this was I knew the Turtles lawsuit opened the door
Against De La.
against De La Soul, and then that was but then I always knew that the Biz Markie lawsuit in a lot of ways was an even bigger lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew the details of asking for permission and they said no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just did it anyway. So
Or that it really was just ultimately it was just nickel and diming.
it was nickel and dime. But see, these are the type of stories that you need to hear them from the people
Yep.
that were actually there.
Yeah. Shout out to Ralph McDaniels.
Look, Ralph McDaniels is there. Talking about, there actually is a video, a Ralph McDaniels documentary. But
yeah.
But again, if we love this thing called hip hop, like if you say you love it, like if you just want to dance and talk and this, that, and the other, and that's fine. But if you love this thing, like we talk about, we love jazz and we love R&B and we love
Mm-hmm.
country music and we love the blues and we love gospel. We need more documents like this that treat it seriously.
Yes. That's the thing. That treat it seriously.
And with this sort of reverence and this sort of attention to detail. And again, you talk to the participants who were actually there. And I think this documentary does this better than the vast majority of hip hop documentaries that I've ever seen. I have to say, the bit with the puppets standing in it, I don't know if I liked it.
The one with Master Ace?
No. Actually.
So just in the hospital bed.
Right. This conceit of him in the hospital bed with the puppet. I was I understood it.
And it didn't work for you.
I didn't necessarily need it. Like I thought this was a part where, appropriately enough, this is his wife.
Mm-hmm.
This is his widow. If that is the price I had to pay for the rest of it, that was a price that I would pay double.
Okay.
But that didn't necessarily work for me.
Okay. What'd you think about the Master Ace part?
I loved it.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I somehow this bit of hip hop history completely, like I again this afternoon I found out that wasn't him on Me in the Biz.
But how'd you feel about him?
Oh, I loved it.
Him doing his apology.
Look, man, look. We talked about Rakim crying. We talked about Kane breaking down. Tracy Morgan almost like
Tracy Morgan, who needs to do a Biz Markie biopic.
Look, how about that? Again, I think I think as Black men in the autumn of our years, hopefully not the winter, but in the autumn. I love this conversation. Like, I love this showing love to one. I love this giving flowers. I love this acknowledgement of what we mean to each other. So, as someone who's now known about this Master Ace Biz Markie thing for 3 hours, I was very affected by it. Like I thought Master Ace was very vulnerable. I thought he was honest about what happened. I have to say, my feeling, I've always had complicated feelings about Marley Marl. I think my feelings have grown more complicated since this afternoon.
Yeah, the whispers have been out there.
It's complicated. Right, but I had heard some of but like, I think maybe I heard a couple more whispers, and again, my feelings are more complicated. I realize I don't know as much about the Juice Crew. Like I also realized I don't know a lot about I could have did more with the Vapors.
Yeah.
I could have did more with the Vapors. But I did. I love this so much.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
I really did. I
do want to call out one other moment because you mentioned Dapper Dan. And Dapper Dan says, I mean, he tells a story about how he used to outfit Biz Markie. But at one moment he says, Biz Markie, and I think he says unlike anyone, but maybe he says like unlike most, would come see me and we just sit there and talk.
Yeah.
He ain't want nothing.
Yeah.
He just like, hey, stop by, checking in, sit down, and then just talk to me. And we'd sit there for hours talking, right?
Yeah.
And then was it Prince Paul who said that Biz started working in his store at the register?
No, that was Fat Joe.
That was Fat Joe, right?
Again, it's everybody.
Yeah. Fat Joe had a store.
Right.
And Biz just Biz
came and worked behind the counter. And he's already famous.
Yeah.
Like at one point they show someone interviewing him in there as he's just dicking around in Fat Joe's store.
Yeah. Just because.
Behind the register.
Just because. And mind you, Fat Joe is probably 2 generations beyond him in hip hop.
Look, the footage of Fat Joe, he looks like he's damn near a teenager.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You're right. He is the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
Look, does someone have something bad to say about Biz Markie? I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
Like, there's a real weird moment with Eric Sermon where he talks about, like, it sounds like Biz was giving him the business a little bit, pardon the pun, about him and Perry when they were putting together their demo.
Yeah, and quite as it kept, Master Ace has a similar moment that he talks about when they first met.
Right, when they first, but it seems like, I'm not going to say it was benign. Like, I don't want to downplay anyone's pain, but it seems like more kind of boyish,
exactly,
ribbing more than anything else,
which is ultimately, obviously, what it where it landed. Because like Eric Sermon is in the documentary,
right? Like dudes kind of mess with other dudes, but
and sometimes you're messing with other dudes to kind of just get a level set,
and there's camaraderie in there.
Exactly.
Like the fact that I'm taking time out to mess with you, right? So,
it's a beautiful testament.
It really is. It really, really is. It's a shame that Sasha Jenkins passed, because I would have loved to see him just sort of move around in this. Because again, I love this period because there's so much I don't know. There's so much I don't know, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
Indeed.
So, but the question, of course, is, would you recommend it?
Wholeheartedly, I would recommend All Up in the Biz, the documentary. If you are a lover of hip hop, you need to check this out. If you are a fan of Biz Markie, you need to check this out. But if you're just a lover of Black culture, of Black life,
That's right.
Black love between, Black men, between Black women, Black friendship, everything. You should see this documentary. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. 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 For every single solitary reason that you just said.
Yeah.
I can add nothing to what you just said, but absolutely.
Got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That is our review of All Up in the Biz.
Mm-hmm.
Before we tell you what we are going to be reviewing next week as we go doc to school, I invite you to become a fan of the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every Black film ever made. You can like and follow the Micheaux Mission on YouTube. Find us on YouTube or Apple or Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. You can hit the bell, be notified of when we go live every Tuesday night. And you can also make sure that you never miss an episode of the Micheaux Mission. The Micheaux Mission is also available on the social media of your choice at Micheaux Mission. I shouldn't say your choice because we're not on Twitter or X or whatever they call it anymore. But we are on IG, we are on Facebook, and we are on Threads. And we'll probably soon be on Blue Sky because I believe says we have to be. So that's what we're going to do. So you can check us out on Blue Sky soon. If you want to share your thoughts and questions with the Micheaux Mission, you can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. And as we announced in the beginning, the Micheaux Mission is now a proud member of the Believe Podcast Network. Every sport, every topic, everywhere. You can go to Believe.com and check out all of the podcasts there. That's Believe, BLEAV.com. And the Micheaux Mission is brought to you by Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself in one of the fabulous studios that they have here for all of the podcasts in Philadelphia, go to youngjunk.com and get in. You may even get Terry as your producer. There's no, look, can't promise that. But you might get Terry. He's got like a whole legion of people that run around here doing things, but he's our guy. All right. What else we have? Oh, if you missed it at the top of the show, the Micheaux Mission is now on Patreon. You can become a patron to the Micheaux Mission.
Mm-hmm.
Go to patreon.com. Check out, look for Micheaux Mission. And please become a patron of us. Help us keep the show bringing quality programming to you. And we will be announcing when we'll be starting the first of our 3 brand new monthly podcasts, Patreon exclusive. I'm actually recording one this coming Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Next week, as we continue going doc to school, it is Vincent's selection for the Micheaux Mission. And he has got a good one. This is a story that I had heard about, but I've never really read about. Did you know that there was an 80-year-old Black woman jewel thief?
This is so ridiculous.
This is not science fiction.
This is so ridiculous.
Yes, 80 years. I did not stutter. An 80-year-old Black woman jewel thief.
Yes.
We will be talking about it next week as we review the life and crimes of Doris Payne right here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.
Young John!